Yes, and we are live. We are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SpurrLIVE Leadership Conversations. My name is Wendell Lawrence. I'm here today with Dr. Donovan Thomas, and we're going to be having an amazing conversation, a very insightful, interesting conversation. Every week we're here at 8 p.m. now, and we have conversations with leaders in different fields, church leaders, and so forth. So this evening is no different. As you join, I ask that you share this broadcast with a friend, start a watch party, let persons know that you're on. Share with a couple of friends to let persons know that I'm on. To get we're about to get Dr. Donovan Thomas International. How are you, sir?
I am good. Good to be with you, Wendell. I've watched a few of your events and keep up the good work.
Yes?
I have watched a few of your events and your
Awesome,
interviews of
awesome.
the
All right,
distinguished
cool. There's a delay.
gentlemen and ladies.
Hmm, okay. I'm hearing you. You're hearing me? You're hearing me, Doc? Hmm. All right. So we might be having a little bit of technical difficulty there. But friends, that's Dr. Donovan Thomas. He's the president and founder of Choose Life International. And Choose Life International is a member of the International Association of Suicide Prevention. This evening, we want to have a conversation with him about COVID and mental health. How are you dealing with COVID? What's up with you and COVID? What's happening with you? What's happening with your friends? What's happening with your family members in this time of COVID? Um, So we're going to be chatting with Dr. Thomas about that. As you come in, I want you to share this broadcast. I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with Doc's connection. Hopefully he'll rejoin us soon. Um, yeah, so what's happening, guys? I'm going to send out a message here, and my connection is poor as well. Oh, you're back. Can you hear us, Doc?
I can. I'm hearing.
Can you hear us,
I,
Doc?
I am hearing you. I
Mm,
can hear you. I am.
mm,
Are you hearing me?
mm. Doc,
Wendell,
we're
are you
just waiting
hearing
on
me?
him to come back on. Okay. We're just waiting on Dr. Donovan to come back on.
I am on. You're not seeing me?
I'm seeing you now. I'm seeing you now. I'm hearing you
Yes.
now. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Awesome. 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 You were saying, you were in the middle of saying.
No, I'm saying it's a privilege to be with you. I have watched a few of your productions as you have sought to interview distinguished gentlemen. And I don't know if you have done any ladies, but I've watched some of those interviews. I don't know, I think I've seen any ladies. And it's a delight to be with you this
Yes, we
evening.
have. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all right. Well, it's a pleasure having you here. We go way back. I don't know how much you will remember, but I remember when my wife and I just got married. You were of the Jamaica Youth Christ at that time. And I remember we bond memories. First trip to, where was this again? This was LA with the Youth for Christ team. Do you remember that? Do you remember that trip?
Yes, yes, I remember. I
That,
remember you were in one of those trips. Yes. Um, I think it was LA and then on to Arizona.
yeah,
Okay, okay. So great. I didn't remember that before now, but thanks for reminding me of
right.
that.
Yes, yes, yes. That, yeah, man, that was
Oh,
yeah, man. That was a pivotal moment in our lives. We had just that. I think that was our the first long trip that we have taken together as a husband and wife. So
okay.
that was significant, and the work that you are doing with Youth for Christ at that time is significant too, as well. You know, so 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 we have roots. We have roots going far back.
Yes. How many years have you been married now,
You know,
though?
I'm going to. So this weekend is going to be 14 years.
Okay, so that helps us to remember the date for the trips, for that trip.
Yes, 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 yeah, yeah. Yeah. This weekend is gonna be actually my wife and I will celebrating our 14th anniversary this week,
Well,
this weekend.
congratulations,
Yeah,
congratulations
man.
to you both.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Thank you very much. So how are things with you? How have things been going? Tell me about your day. Like describe for me and the viewers here. What's your day like for today?
Well, I walk every morning for about 45 minutes. So I wake up at 5:30
Nice.
and I walk with a group from 6:05 to about 7, close to 7 o'clock. And then somewhere along the way, my wife and I had devotions when I came back there, and then we were on to some meeting at early morning on Zoom, and had some counseling sessions. Visited a home where we had I've been counseling with somebody. Then I had my COVID-19 meeting with that's a team that plans the webinars. And now had a Gleaner
Mm-hmm.
interview. Was doing something with love with Auntie Colleen and love, and then with you tonight.
Hmm. Nice. Nice. You had a full day. You had a full day.
It's a
You had a
full
full
day.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And things have been kind of different for you since in September because of your work with suicide prevention, etc.
Well, not sure if it's since September. September 10th is World Suicide Prevention Day, and we can talk a little bit about that event. But
Mm-hmm.
things changed pace a little bit when the lockdown took place in March, and we were
Oh
no
wow.
longer able to be at office, and so we were primarily involved in face-to-face interventions, counseling one-to-one as well as group presentations, and so gears changed from back then,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have just continued on a path of just learning and growing and adjusting every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In terms of with the use of technology to accomplish that.
Yes. So one of the first things we did just nearing the end of March, just after the lockdown took place, we brought together a group of people, international team from England, Antigua, uh, Trinidad, Jamaica, and USA over Zoom. And the question we had to answer was, what are the opportunities that COVID-19 present to Choose Life International? And we recognized that we had something that we could offer. And so we actually launched our Choose Life International free Zoom webinars on the first
Mm,
Sunday of April. And
mm,
we have done all kinds of stuff, from happiness. Um, we, choosing happiness in tough times, managing stress. We have done single and loving it, preparations for marriage, and we have just completed a series on suicide prevention, and we
Mm-hmm.
are getting ready to go into a series called uh, Everyday Heroes, where we're looking at some people who are serving on the forefront of life and who are
Mm-hmm.
making a contribution there. So it has been a journey. In fact, it is during this COVID-19 time that we have also started a TV show. So we now run a series on MTM TV. We have
Mm-hmm.
been, we have gone, we're close, probably close to 20 episodes now. And it's really been good just trying to serve the nation of Jamaica and the nations of the world, even as we go through this crisis.
Let me ask you something. When did you get married?
29th of March, 1986. So, Faith,
1986.
yeah, so
I
we've
would have
been,
been I
you
would have
were
been
what?
what, 6 years old at that time?
Right. So we've been married for 34 years.
Okay. And how many children do you have?
Two two biological children, several others who have passed through our hands, and we now have two daughters-in-law.
I I
So yeah.
Nice. So the picture I'm trying to get, I'm trying to canvas now what brought you here. Tell me about the genesis of Choose Life International, the genesis of the passion in you as an individual. What brought you to the place of this kind of work?
All right. So we need to actually revisit as way back as 1986. Shortly after we got married, then I was volunteering with Youth for Christ and later became staff. But we volunteered at a juvenile institution out in St. Mary, and we met a teenager who was suicidal. We didn't know how to help her, so we journeyed from St. Mary into Kingston to seek help.
This is you and your wife,
Yeah, my wife and I.
right?
And and so we actually took her into our house, and she stayed with us for 6 months, during which time we were able to get her into school. We were able to find her father in the US, and we were able to find some amount of help and connection with her. So for her. So that's when we really started suicide prevention. Then while I was National Director of Youth for Christ, I was doing a research on Jamaican teenagers at risk, the church's response. And I was very surprised when 1 in 4 of the teenagers we interviewed indicated that they seriously thought about taking their own lives. I said, as a youth worker and as a Christian youth worker, we should find answers. So I wrote a paper on pastoral response to teen suicide. And after that, my doctoral dissertation on confronting suicidal propensity among Jamaican teenagers. I had gone in the class, the doctoral class in ministry, doctor in ministry, intending to do evangelism within a garrison community. But as I interacted in the topic of suicide and reaching youth, uh, my my classmate and good friend, Reverend Dr. Sam Vassell, my teacher, my classmate, our good friend, our mentor, actually said to me, Donovan, you have done so much work in suicide prevention. Why don't you consider doing your doctoral dissertation in that? And with that, I took up the challenge and wrote that. And 2 years after, we actually published our first book, Confronting Suicide, Helping Teens at Risk. And we've been doing lots of seminars, very often talking to people about suicide, helping people who are suicidal, and so forth. So when I was with Youth for Christ, we actually did a number of seminars across Jamaica. We had a slant towards helping people who are suicidal. And then there came a time when I felt it was time to move on. We felt the birthing of a passion that says this is what we should give our lives to. And so I left my job as from Choose at Youth for Christ and Caribbean Youth for Christ to start Choose Life International. Just about the same time, my wife felt it was time for her to to move on to from being the senior counsel at Stonehill Heart Academy, where she had served for 19 years. And we, through a series of things, started Choose Life International. And we believe it is a call of God upon our lives to be able to lead Choose Life International in these times. So, yeah, that's how we actually started. So, Choose Life International is a fourfold focus: suicide prevention and grief counseling, helping people to align with divine purpose. That encompasses several things: teaching people to be happy, dealing with with counseling matters, and just helping to do emotional assessments and so forth, and missions and evangelism. And when we started Choose Life International, our sons were then teenagers, and they led the string ministry, using strings to do demonstration while telling the gospel story. Yeah, so it's been 12 years now since Choose Life International was started. Tomorrow, we will actually celebrate in a service on
Interesting.
Zoom. Yeah, so we're celebrating a Zoom service tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and we're inviting people to join us. We expect to have people from the U.S., from Guyana, from Trinidad, from different parts of the Caribbean, and hopefully wider parts of the world, to North America and even wider afield, participating in that service.
Who do people join?
Yeah, there is people can join through Zoom, and I'll tell you the password and the ID in a little while. So yeah, 840-0622-5039. 840-0622-5039. And the passcode is CLI, all caps, 12, and the word years, all caps. So CLI 12 years is the passcode.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let me ask you something now. Give me some statistics in terms of, persons that choose life have been. I'm not sure how you measure. I'm not sure how you actually count or quantify what you have been doing, but give me some statistics in terms of some of the lives that you have been affected and so forth.
Well, I don't know that I can tell you how many lives have been impacted, but there are many anecdotes of transformation
Yes.
that we have
Give me
seen.
some of the stories.
One of the exciting one is a teenager attempted suicide just before she did her CXCs. She did her CXC, attempted suicide, came to us, got a little help from us, then did her CXCs, and I think she got 8 or 9 ones, and went through university, and today she is attorney at law.
Wow. What happened to the young lady who you and your wife met in St. Thomas and brought to Kingston? What happened to that?
St. Mary. No, we have lost touch with her over the years. That's 30 over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But there are several others who have lived at our home. I think about somebody who stayed in our home for about 5 years. She was suicidal too. Didn't have any subjects, did her subjects one by one. And today she is a minister of the gospel. She's a trained nurse, married, and has a child, and has started a faith-based organization that helps people who are in difficulties too. We think of a young lady who came to us several years after her mom died by suicide, and she said it is only out of the intervention with us that she was able to enjoy life after that. She now lives in the States, and she has started an organization to help people who are suffering the loss of loved ones, and she will be sharing her testimony tomorrow night in the service. There's also a pastor before Choose Life International started. Pastor who I met recently told us that he was suicidal, and many years ago we helped him. He is now a pastor. just about a month, less than a month ago, a guidance counselor came to us to tell us thanks, wrote us a note to tell us thanks. Many years ago, she was suicidal, and we insisted on her getting some help. She didn't come to us, but based upon our analysis of what she was dealing with, and so she realized she needed help, and she was one of the presenters in one of our webinars recently. So we have seen
Wow.
many stories, many lives being transformed as God has called us to help people choose life. But we are
So
also
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so we believe that happiness is the antidote for suicide. And so my wife and I have developed a course that is taught at a college level called The Art and Science of Happiness, where we
Mm,
teach people to be happy. In fact, we have also written a book. We are the executive editors of the book, Geared to Live, 12 Keys to Happiness. So people can actually go through that course and experience greater happiness. And it's just been transformational as we have taught at the college level, and as we have done seminars in the business community, in the church community, in the educational sector. In fact, I think it is last year we did a presentation at the Jamaica Employers Federation, that conference there, on energize your workplace with happiness. It was a
mhm.
3-hour presentation, and I believe it went very well, and people were positively impacted. So, so we just don't want to prevent suicide. We want people to be happy and fulfilled. We want people to be able to experience joy as they go through life.
So let me ask you now, Donovan,
Yes.
who who counsels and refreshes the counselor when you are down, when you have been going from 5:30, going for 30 odd years, helping these persons, bringing persons in your home. Um, you, the human being, you, the Donovan, DT,
Yeah.
you know, how do you deal with your moments of stress? You're leading this organization, and as a leader, you're still human, and sometimes persons will forget that.
Yeah.
How
So
do you deal with and deal with what you're going through as a human being? Your marriage, leading the organization, COVID, everything that's
yeah.
happening.
All right. So we are not afraid to cry out for help ourselves. We believe that counseling works. And in our own journey, in our own marriage, my wife and I have sought help and have benefited from that. So my wife is a counselor, so I can download on her too. So I can get help right at home. But we don't talk about cases. In fact, sometimes the people see us and talk to us as if we know what the other spouse is dealing with them in counseling session. But that is not so. We don't know
No,
what's
no, say
going
that
on.
again. No,
I am
say that again.
saying that sometimes some of our people that we're working with, our clients, will
Hmm.
talk to me as if I know the story that they told my wife.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. So there's some level of privacy and separation of concern.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. So it stays there. There are times when we interface together, but yeah, we have people who we can talk to, who we can share with, and we just really believe in just casting all our cares upon Him because He cares. And we have from we start the Choose Life International. There's a set time in the year that we actually just take off. That's our vacation time. So we have been able to do some of that, but we enjoy what we do,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
we don't take home the burdens, and we are just amazed at the goodness of the Lord. So we are energized when we see the transformation in people's lives, when we see people being suicidal and then helping others who are now suicidal. That energizes us. Sometimes when we have finished our classes and we're going long days, and my wife and I will say, and we are being paid for this, because we get such
Yes,
joy out
it's
of just
cherry on the
being
top.
yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we just think about yeah, we're saying that we enjoy it so much. So
yeah.
salary is not even an issue. When you think about 2 years after somebody did her happiness course, and
Mm-hmm.
2 years after I saw her, she said, Dr. Thomas, since we did that, I did that course. My wife, my husband and I have not had a fight. They were literally fighting, but she was able to learn how to deal with issues so as to be able to get help. I think of somebody else 6 months after her mom was murdered. With tears in her eyes, she walked from the back of the class to the front of the class and said, as a result of this class, she has chosen to forgive the person.
Wow.
So we're seeing just lives being transformed, and we're excited about what God is doing. We are in this because we believe God has called us to this, and that He is the one who provides the help. He's the one who provides the empowerment. We are anointed for this kind of stuff, and we're seeing that happening. We have been involved with people in different parts in some other countries. Choose Life International as an arm operating very effectively in Cuba. We are registered in the United States. We are
Mm-hmm.
a 501c3 organization,
Mm-hmm.
charity in the USA, and we have initiatives in other countries: Antigua, Guyana, Belize, Trinidad, and Cayman Islands too.
What's your
Uh,
vision? What's your vision for Choose Life?
that Choose Life International will be the premier Christian organization in the nations of the world dealing with suicide prevention. So right now we're working on Caribbean expansion, and the USA expansion came up. Is not something that that we expected so early. So we just went on as the Lord led. So we
Give
want
me
to
sorry. In a quick synopsis, just give me like what's your plan? If you can describe what's your plan to achieve that vision in terms of like how are you plan? How are you going about with the expansion? What's the strategy?
all right, there may be about let's say there are threefold strategy. One of them is that we are deliberately looking at nations and praying about nations that we feel that we should establish ministry. For instance, with the increase in suicide in Trinidad, we prayed about going to Trinidad for about 4 years, and then when Trinidad opened up in 6 months, we were there like 4 times. We did 11 presentation in 10 days. And then we were also praying about Guyana. And then after a while, Guyana opened up and we were able to go there. So we operate with a sense of this is where God is leading us, but we also respond to invitations from countries to be able to do training and speaking engagements and be able to help people work through their challenges. And it's just been transformational what we have seen. And the third aspect of our operation is that we have nations that are now saying we have experience, so we want to pioneer in other nations. Such is the case with Cuba, as
Mm-hmm.
Cuba is pioneering Choose Life International in Peru, and it's just amazing to just see.
You set up. I'm trying to understand how it works. You set up like a franchise in that, and then somebody's in charge of that particular area.
Well, we work with when we go into a country, we establish a steering committee. Well, we do
I
some ministry in the in the country, and we say to the people, and people usually want to find out more about what we do and want to get involved. Then we bring together a group of people. We look out for persons who we believe may have the interest, have the passion, and some amount of um, background training that could help to pivot Choose Life International. We invite them to a meeting. We share a little bit more about what Choose Life International is about, and we say to them, "Is this something that can be of service to your country? And if and are you willing to be a part of helping to just make this happen in your country?" So we form a steering committee. We give them a time frame to be able to look at. Is this what you want to do? Are you willing to be a part of helping to register it? Then we look at board development. So we set the board in place, and then the board looks at executive. Who are the people that are going to run the organization? Still in very young stages, but we
Mhm.
have a model that we believe is going to help us to be able to reach the nations of the world. And
Yes.
especially during this time where suicide is such a major issue in the nations of the world. We believe that God has called us for such a time as this, not just to do what our hands find to do, but to empower people to be able to do others. And you know about the training that we have been doing now for the last 12 years, the World
Mm-hmm,
Suicide Prevention Day seminar.
mm-hmm,
And this
mm-hmm.
year it turned webinar.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
yeah, so we have seen growth from 40 people 12 years ago to 1,000 people this past year. And
Mm-hmm.
our registration list looks like 1,250 people,
Oh,
that kind of stuff. So we are excited about what God is doing, and our passion is to be able to fulfill that which God has called us to do.
um, let's talk a little bit about COVID Jamaica and our fellow Jamaicans. Um, and I want to start off by asking you, or paint the picture, and to say that there are some persons who are who COVID has hit. Um, they are fearful. They are alone, and because because of these two factors, there's like a multiplier effect. You know, you're fearful and you're alone, so you're not, you're alone, so you're not even sure what you're afraid of now, and it's like a cycle, you know. And the thought would cross some of their minds as to, boy, I need to get some help. I need to talk to somebody because I'm not sure I'm processing this the right way. But there's a stigma with getting help. There's like, you know, well, I mean, I want to help. You understand? So what I want you to do, just speak a little bit, Donovan, now about breaking the stigma. Speak to that person in particular about the reason why they should, give it a second thought. Like, get the help, you know? Go ahead.
Okay, so I want you to know that all of us go through challenges from time to time. And from time to time, we need somebody that we can call on. And the fact that we have problems, it doesn't mean that we are any less valuable or less important. As we go through life, we've got to be willing to deal with our own issues, because it is as we deal with our own issues that we're going to be able to help others to deal with their own issues. It is as we are strengthened that we can provide help. So I want you to know that you do not, that everybody doesn't need to know that you're calling for help. The Ministry of Health now has a mental health helpline where you can call 888 New Life. 888 New Life, and you can talk about your situation. You can get your help from them. It's toll free, it's private, it's professionally run, so you can get the help without exposing yourself. That's fully confidential. Now, there may be some of you who are dealing with issues and you are afraid to cry out for help. It is, if you don't get the help now, it is going to impact you even further. So you can choose what direction you want to go. You can go downhill or you can go uphill and process what is going on. So we invite you to cry out for help, shout out, be honest with yourself. Whatever you're feeling, it's important. Dr. Wendell Abel actually says, whatever you're feeling, name it, claim it, and tame it. And it is reaching out to others that for help professionals. But sometimes you probably just need to talk to a friend. And there are some of you who are alone at home and you're getting really lonely, alone and lonely. Now, I want to ask you to just reach out to some friends. Don't wait for somebody to call you. You give them a call. Get onto your Facebook and your WhatsApp and your telephones and just reach out and connect. You know, Wendell, when COVID-19 just came, we were supposed to be in the USA for our wedding anniversary. We had some speaking engagement lined up, plus the anniversary celebration. We wanted to be with my brother and his wife, who celebrate the anniversary on the same day. But We never had a party over there, but we had a Zoom party where we had people probably from 5 or 6 different nations who joined in, and we were there. We participated with them without having to pay airfare and departure tax and those kinds of stuff. So we have to be
Yeah.
creative. And I say there are some things that we have got to do to be able to just cope. First of all, be creative. What can you create? I did some cooking of mango takari in the midst of all that is going. I called my aunt
What?
and said,
Hold on. What is that? What is that?
"Oh,
What?
Wendell, you're missing out, man. If you haven't tasted the Indian cuisine, mango takari, then you're missing out." So it is cooked mango Indian cuisine. So I actually refined that skill during this COVID-19. So
You're
so be
hold on.
creative.
You
Yeah.
just something now. So you're a foodie. You're a foodie, Donovan.
Enough to stay alive. Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy food, but I've learned to be careful. And I have a wife that watches over me when if I even try and get too risky. But I have a sweet tooth that acts up. But guess what? During this COVID time, I decided I was going to do some things differently. So I
Yeah.
was going to conserve on the food. So you hear me saying, connect, create, conserve. So I decided I was not going to be eating so much. I was going to be doing my exercise. I have taken off 10 or up to 50, probably 15 pounds during this COVID time by doing
Wow.
my walking. And so then we during this COVID time, I want to encourage us to compliment others. Call up
Mm,
some people and just tell them thanks for the ways
wow.
in which they have impacted your life. So
Wow.
ask
Wow.
not. Somebody say, ask not what you can do for your country. Sorry, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And same thing, ask not.
Let me just so me expound on. I want you to expound on the compliment somebody. Like, what does that do?
Yeah,
What is that?
you do. When people are going through tough times and you express appreciation, it is easier for them to deal with that. So gratitude is a must. So it does something to us when we give compliments to person. We also receive from that. So we want to just give more of ourselves and give more of our compliments and our support to be able to encourage people. So we want to. What are the C's again? Create,
Mhm.
connect, complement,
Concert.
conserve, and then we have got to determine what direction we're going. I can't remember any more of those C's, but we have got to evaluate our own lives. So I would say commit, yeah, commit to doing something new. That all of us going through COVID-19, but some of us are learning and growing, while some of us are becoming depressed and frustrated. So do something. Plan, write the book that you have wanted to write for a while. Reach out to some friends. Read some more. Spend some more time with God. Commit to standards of excellence and be determined that you're going to move on. During this COVID time, I have taken off the weight. I've planted some more flowers. I have also written a chapter in a book that UTech should be launching soon, that
Nice.
they were asking me to do for a while, but decided that I am going to do what I can to be able to rise above the challenges of the day. So
Nice.
lots of opportunities, and I
Yes.
encourage us to grow through it.
Sure. What's it? What's it like in your marriage now as a result of COVID? I assume that you'd be well. You work with your wife, so the situation, the dynamic may not have changed, but there are a lot of couples who, before COVID, their life has been good morning, honey. Pass the bags to me. Let's get the kids off to school. And then in the evening, good evening, honey. What's for dinner? And then sleep. And then good morning, honey. But now with COVID, it is like, excuse me, I want to go to the bathroom. Like we're rubbing, we're shoulder to shoulder for the entire day. And I believe that it has put a strain on some relationships because you're not used to it. What kind of
Yeah.
encouragement do you have for those kind of
Well,
couples?
Well, to begin with us, as you said, we have worked together closely for a number of years now. For 12 years, we've been working in the same building, and we enjoy each other's company. My wife is a woman of faith. That's her name. And her name is Faith. And you know what the scripture says about that. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. All right. But so really lovely woman of God,
Yes.
and so very professional, and just believes in just obeying the call of God upon our life, and so we work well together at least most times. So I
Mhm.
remember one day I was actually preaching at a church. In fact, we were doing a presentation on happiness, and I started coughing, and she took the water to me, and I said to her, "I thought you were going to take the mic." Then she took the mic and finished what I was doing until,
Wow.
So
Wow.
we
That's
work closely with in that kind of way, and we really complement each other. Last week we did presentation with a business organization. She was doing part of it. I was doing part of it. So we're not in competition. We complement each other,
right.
and we work together. So we work together well. So for people who are struggling with each other, for spouses, for couples that are struggling with each other right now, I want to say, go back to those old days when you never, those early days, I should say, when you never had enough time to spend with the person that you enjoy so much. You, no matter how much time you spent, there was always need for more. So revisit the reasons for which you married her, or she married you, or whatever way it went, or but and just look out for those things about your spouse that you enjoy, and tell them. Make it a part of your duty to do something positive to impact their lives today and every day. Don't ask for what you can get again, but give and give and give. Understand your spouse's needs and go after that. And it's important that you understand how your spouse experience love. Because if she wants time, no matter all the gifts you bring, that's not going to be sufficient to be able to say, I love, that I feel loved. So,
Mhm.
challenging times, but challenging times can help us to grow. Somebody said a smooth sea never makes a skillful sailor. A smooth sea never
Ah,
makes a skillful sailor. It is the tough things in life that build character. And when we are
yes.
squeezed, well, if we have an orange and we squeeze it, what do we get? Orange juice. This
Yes.
time of COVID 19, when we are being squeezed, it is what is within us that comes
That
out.
will come.
So, so
Yes.
it is a time for introspection, a time to look at what's going on with me, and to be able to be better out of this situation instead of being bitter. Work on being the best version of yourself during this time, and be the best version of yourself for your spouse and for your children. So as you
Mhm.
probably know, Wendell, we are empty nesters. So we don't have children at home anymore. We have big people who are
Married.
children. Yeah, they are
Yes.
they are married themselves on their own, and
Mhm.
so we don't have those kinds of challenges with having to take care of a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and those kind of things. So we're able to even give more to people who are out there who just need help.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we
Mhm.
praise
Mhm.
the Lord for the two wonderful sons that He has given to us,
And the
and
daughter that came along.
and the wonderful daughters-in-law, and the grandchildren that are on their way. Some we know of, and some we don't know of yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. This is nice. This is nice. This is nice. I want you to give one more encouragement, and I want you to speak to those persons who are giving care. Like so the nurses would probably fall in this category, but more so the persons, the counselors, the persons who are are seeing the cases, who are hearing of the reports of of the suicide that actually took place, or the persons who are receiving the reports of abuse, the persons, and they're on the front line. So we know that the nurses are on the front line where COVID is concerned, and we celebrate them and we really appreciate what they are doing. There are also some persons who are on the front line of the mental health battle. There are a lot of persons who are struggling. There is the friend who everybody always calling. Everybody always call that friend there and pour them problems on that girl, or that guy. This particular counselor's office's phone is ringing off the hook. Organizations are calling them, associations are calling them, individuals are calling them. So, but these persons, in my mind, are on the front line of the battle for the mental health, and some of them are feeling like they need to pretend to be strong. You know, give a little encouragement to them.
All right. So, in the face of all that is going on, we need to also realize that uh, we need to deal with self care. And it is sometimes called compassion towards self. And that's the other C I was missing. That in the midst of all that is going on, that we need to look out for the me, myself, and I. I am not asking you to be selfish. I am asking you to be caring. If you are in this for the long haul, then you have got to know that you can do so much and no more, and that you also need to be refueled. In the face of the difficulties and challenges, find somebody to talk to. Find a way to be able to pull back. Develop a stronger relationship with God. And remember, the way you think affects the way you feel, affects the way you behave. If you think that it is doom and gloom, you're going to feel frustrated, overwhelmed. But if you begin to think, that God is with us and He's not going to give us more than what He's prepared to help us bear, then we are going to feel hopeful, and we are going to be better able to cope. So, in the midst of the difficulties and challenges, grow through this. Groan if you must, but grow, GROW. Let's grow through this by getting the help from outside, by digging deep within our own lives, and recognize that there's a supernatural being. God Himself wants to help us walk the path in these tough times.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you think about this COVID thing, Donovan?
That it is a time of crisis in the nations of the world. It presents a leveling play field for everybody. The same thing that can affect the man in the inner city is the same thing can get into the palace in Buckingham Palace. And so we are all humankind, and we need to look out for each other more. I want to encourage all of us to take the guidelines that the Ministry of Health and other health authorities are offering to us. Wear the mask, do the sanitizing, and everything else. We can get through this, but we have got to be responsible.
Yes.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Right. In this COVID time, we are told, and the Bloomberg report of May 8th says the next COVID crisis will be a wave of suicide.
Wow.
And 800,000 people die by suicide every year, currently. At least 800,000. Every 40 seconds, somebody dies. Huh?
This is globally?
Globally, yeah. Globally. And every 40 seconds, somebody dies by suicide.
Wow.
And that's globally. But we have seen enough in Jamaica to be concerned about our children killing themselves. We have seen enough in Jamaica to be concerned for the elderly, to be concerned for just our fellow men. And all of us have got to play a part to be able to just help people work through the difficulties and the challenges. Paul in Acts chapter 16, he saw the jailer was about to kill himself, and he shouted to the jailer, "Do yourself no harm, we're all here." And that's the kind of shout that we need to give to each other, that we need to shout them out and say, we are here to be able to help you. We are here to be able to help you carry your burdens. We are here to be able to just help you choose life. And we recognize that in that passage, Wendell, the same person who was suicidal and probably didn't even care about those that were battered and beaten up, that he took after the intervention, he took them and washed their wounds and gave them food. So we find out that even people who are suicidal, when they are impacted by when they get the help, they themselves become caregivers. And then in that same passage, the jailer asks the question that every minister of the gospel wants to hear somebody ask: what must I do to be saved? And no doubt, his own spiritual sensitivity was increased as a result of the intervention in his life when he was rescued from suicide. He was rescued physically, it generated interest spiritually, he made that commitment to the Lord, and then the passage says, and he was filled with joy, he and his whole household, because they had come to faith in Christ. So, in the midst of all that is going on, there's an opportunity for the church to issue that shout. There's an opportunity for the mental health worker. There's an opportunity for every family member to issue that shout. Do yourself no harm. We are all here. And may we show up in the lives of people to help them to choose life.
I want you to tell me, so we're about to wrap shortly, but I want you to tell me about the program. You have a program where you are a facility or a service or offering where you go into organizations and you talk about happiness, as you mentioned, and you have a whole intervention for organizations. Describe for us what that looks like, and if you were to come to my organization, what would I experience? So I'm considering to have you come to my organization. Describe for me the process and what is the result, or what's the benefit of having you come.
It sounds like you need to be at a church service tomorrow night to hear some of those persons who have been impacted share about the impact of our involvement with them in those companies. But what we actually do, we go in as wellness officers, or we are counselors stroke chaplains. So we are providing emotional support, and we are providing spiritual support. So we will listen to their stories. We'll provide help and guidance and help them to be able to work through the challenge and difficulties. We meet them at their level. It is not preachy. It is conversational. It is being there for the people, walking the path with them day by day, and helping them through the difficulties. So that's one-to-one counseling. Sometimes we do the group intervention, happiness, stress management, the 5 principles for success as security officers, and many other things depending on what's going on. So the idea is to be able to help people live more fulfilled lives. It is called our Staff Wellness and Support Program. So we want to invite companies and organizations. We work alongside with the HR department. But let me not forget that we also do a lot in terms of when there is death and loss in companies. So we have worked with several organizations that's helping them to be able to grieve in a healthy way. And it is possible to help people grieve in a healthy way. So we want to get out there. We want to come alongside you and your staff members to be able to help them live more fulfilled lives, to live happier lives. Wendell, do you know that happy staff members make happier employees? Happy employees make happy customers, which make happy owners, because the bottom line is increased. So happy employees will add to your company and will increase the threshold. They have a greater sense of ownership, they volunteer more, they go beyond the call of duty more when they are happy. And we want to encourage companies to engage the services that can see their staff members being happier and their organizations increasing in the bottom line.
How do we get in touch with you? How do we figure
We-
out? How do we get in touch to have you come to
Okay.
our organization?
All right. Choose Life International is our website is www.chooselifeintl.org. www.chooselifeintl.org. And we can find the offerings there. In fact, we have over 40 webinars that are on the website free that people can get help that situation. If you're having problem with children, best practices in raising children, suicide prevention, when suicide comes to church, when suicide comes to school, when suicide comes to workplace, what to do, you can find those there. Wendell, I want to say thanks to you for the role you played in the success of the recently held World Suicide Prevention Day seminar. You and Spur actually provided a platform where we were able to get people registered from local and overseas. Thank you so much again. Thanks for the opportunity for being with you. And we saw about 1,000 people being on the YouTube and Zoom platforms, and we're helping people to be empowered so that they can help others choose life.
Amazing. Well, it was a pleasure from our side, being a part of it. I'm glad to know that we contributed in that way. And I'm sure you're looking forward to what's happening tomorrow. Say again, and earlier you had said how persons could join. Can you say again in terms of persons who want to join via Zoom, how they can get connected and how they can
All
get
right. Tomorrow is our 12th anniversary. Choose Life International started in 08, 1st of October, and we're having a church service to mark that occasion tomorrow. We're joining with the believers meeting at Swallowfield Chapel, and the ID number is 840-0622-5039. And the passcode CLI, all caps, the numbers 1, 2, 12, and then caps years. No space in between. CLI 12 years, all caps. And the numbers 12, not spelled out. So join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We'll have a speaker from the United States. We'll have testimonies from Jamaica. We'll have persons from Belize joining us, and I believe Antigua and Trinidad too. So, awesome. But also, Wendell, we do have our webinars every Monday night and every Sunday night, 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon, 6 o'clock on Sunday evenings, where we are sharing with people so that they can be inspired to better cope with the challenges. And we're going to be having the Reverend Dr. Peter Garth and his wife as our special guest on Sunday evening. And we invite you to join us. We can give you that information too on how to join that. But it's on our website. Find it. It's the same Zoom address, same Zoom ID and telephone number we've been using now for a while. So we are interested.
Let me ask you, how, because it just crossed my mind, how are you funded? How are these activities funded? Because you do a webinar every week. You have this
two every week.
You have this service coming up, this major event that's coming up. One that went on the other day, we were involved in that one. But how have you been funded over the years? How does that work?
All right, so we depend on, there are a few streams. Like some of the things, like when we go into the companies, we charge. There's a fee associated with that. We have the books that we sell from time to time, and we depend on persons who the Lord speak to be able to make donations. And we can go to the Spur website, and you can make your donation to Choose Life International on the Spur website, and we will surely get that kind of funding, get the funds in time for our event. So we believe in giving, and we are trusting the Lord that people will give back to us as we seek to help. But we're also planning a series of activities. We're going to be doing some comedy shows over Zoom, and the first one is going to be in November, and that is going to be income generating so that we can pour back into the work that God has called us to do. Yes. So we ask you to support us, pray for us, and where you can
Nice.
give to the ministry.
That's nice. That's
Yes.
nice. That's nice.
Thank
That's
you.
nice. All right. Well, yes, man. Yes, that's for sure. That's for
That's
sure.
for sure.
I
For sure.
I thank you so much, Donovan, for being with us here in this session. Um, I know for our viewers, it's a little bit different from the direction we normally go, but this being the last day of September, last day of the official Suicide Prevention Month, um, we thought it was prudent to say come on and share, and also from
Thank you.
feedback that we have got from person about that whole subject matter and so forth. So it was a pleasure having you, sir. Thank you so much, you and your lovely wife, for what you've been doing since 2008 with Choose Life International, and even for how you impacted my wife and I, our lives from even before then. It has been a real blessing, and I thank you. I look forward to even greater things and to hearing even greater things from you. And see, we've started doing some stuff together, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be, interacting much more.
Great,
You know,
great, great. Thank you, Wendell. Thank you. And the Lord bless you and family too.
yeah, man. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. That's it. Here is Allison saying, "Boy, we had persons here supporting us online, Allison, and I'm pretty sure there are other persons who are watching who may not be commenting. Thank you guys for being here with us. Thank you for sharing with our guests. Yes, we have to big up Dana Wallace International. We have to big up Sabrina Bryce. We have to big up Carlos. We have to big up all the persons on the team. Nadia May, for helping to make this happen. Thank you guys. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Next month starts tomorrow. Before you know it, 2021 starts. you know. Thank you guys. Have a good night and